What up, party people? Zack Miller here for something like the 275th edition of Zack Miller Says. Now, I want to talk to you guys. I want to paint a scenario. So I was delivering a book this morning to a friend who ordered, and we were to get coffee and catch up. And it was interesting because this individual, who at the time right now will stay nameless, maybe I'll forget and name him later, but he is someone who said something really interesting to me, and I thought it was really, really compelling. He said, when I first started my career, I really wanted to impress everyone, and so I would dress up a little bit, even if it wasn't something that I necessarily enjoyed. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then he said, now he looks at it and says, okay, I want to be me. Right? I don't want to be building this brand for someone that isn't me. And so the topic came up because he was like, oh, well, I'm meeting with Zack today. I know that I don't have to, super dress up because Zack isn't going to judge me like that. And I think that's so important, right? So many people want to build this brand that isn't them, that's trying to... because Zack isn't going to judge me like that. And I think... Sorry for the playback. Because... wrapping my head back around. So he doesn't want to build a brand because that's not him, right? Because he would look back on it and say, oh, like that's not, I'm building something that is an inauthentic me. And I think that's really, really, really important. Like all too often, like we are just judged and criticized because we don't look a specific way, when really that thing is so, in my opinion, wrong, right? So a lot of people still to this day judge me for, oh, the beard that I have, the hair that I have, the black t-shirt and jeans, or, whatever I'm wearing that isn't, your typical corporate whatever. And what I say to them is, I don't know why you're judging me. I don't get mad at you for what you're wearing or how you look. I don't judge you for that, so you shouldn't either. And so it was interesting to me that someone was starting to recognize that himself, because he, I guess, saw that it was starting to happen where he was building this brand and it wasn't necessarily who he wanted it to be. And so what I recommend to you is start thinking about who you are and define, the actual aesthetics of your outfits and things like that towards making sure that scenario is shared. Right? Now, I get it. There are certain careers that you have where you have to wear a uniform or you have to look a certain way. But maybe there's a way to flare that up. Quick little side note that's on topic, though. I am looking at... So I'm doing all these speaking engagements over the next few months. And one thing that I want to do to even enhance or double down on my look, which will be the jeans, the black... Sambas, which actually are now Pumas, the black t-shirt, the jeans, the hair, the beard, whatever. That's the Zack Miller brand, or at least that's the Zack Miller brand right now. But I'm looking at trying to go an even further step. And I think this is going to be fun if I can find it. So my buddy Tim Ryan, who's been on the show twice, had an event and he was wearing a suit. Tim wears suits occasionally, but this one, it was like all stars. It was black and white stars, and it was really, really cool. And I can't remember the website that it was at. But what was cool about it is it was just really funky and different. And so I'm looking for a suit that has airplanes on it. So I'm hoping, similar airplanes to the cover of my book would be super great. So either the paper airplanes or the main plane. If I can't find that, what I think I'm going to do is take a black jacket and then get I don't even know what they call the little thing that you put in the pocket right here. And I'm going to have that be a custom-made handkerchief or whatever they are. I clearly don't wear these things. And then I want to try and get anomaly socks. And then... if I can't find one that's crazy with planes on it, I'm thinking about getting it lined on the inside with a bunch of paper airplanes or something like that. Just to be really freaking different. Because that's who I am. I'm a different person. I own it. And I'm not afraid that some people don't appreciate or want to judge me for that. I don't think it's right. I don't think that they should be doing it. A pocket square, thanks, Chris Tillett. But there are going to be some scenarios where I might have to, or I might want to come on stage with the suit jacket on, right? My TV show, I do that with it. Can you imagine if that jacket would have been the Anomaly planes? That would have been absolutely mesmerizing and amazing. So I'm looking into doing something like that. I haven't told anyone else I'm doing that yet. Don't want to spend a lot of money on it, but I think it would impact, get a good impact on people. So build the brand that you want. Build the brand of who you are, because what I don't want you to do is get successful and then feel like it's fake. And I think all too often that does happen with people. And then they go, well, this is an inauthentic me. This isn't who I am, right? So I would much rather have less customers but be who I am than have more customers and feel like a fraud. So what you see is what you get. I try and document as much as possible. And I think I'm very raw and authentic. And I think people see that, appreciate it. And I think that's one thing that has helped me grow my brand. And so when you think about your individual brands, your business brands, whatever it is, what is it that you want it to be? What is that brand represent? Who is that brand, right? And so make sure that who you want people to think you are, they are. Edwin from Coffee Sales recently told me that some people were saying, hey, we really like this look that you have, kind of looking like a first skipper on a boat. And so he's like, oh, I actually kind of like that too. And so he's starting to dress that type of part, and he actually enjoys it himself. And I saw him recently, and it looks cool, right? So be thinking physically, from a material standpoint, what you want your brand to look like. And then from an internal perspective, make sure that the language and the way that you communicate with people is also something that you are happy with, right? So I talk very bold and raw with people, and that's who I am. I just speak my mind and say it. Some people don't want to be like that. That's perfectly fine. But make sure that the authentic you is getting out. And I think that's so important. That word authentic is lost. You can do it in a plethora of different ways. But the key, or the pull away, as Mark Rowan says, is to make sure that you're authentic. So that when you hit that milestone that you want, you don't feel like you're a fraud or a fake. Build the brand you want by being authentic. That's it for episode, I think, 275 of Zack Miller Says. My good friend Eric Olson has been encouraging me to do something that I have not done. At the end of my long form podcast where I'm interviewing people, I don't have an out cue, or I don't have like an ending. I just kind of end it and it just ends. And he wants me to upsell this bad boy. I think it'd be like, hey, thanks for everything. Please read my book. Buy it right now at zackmillersays.com/Ann O'Malley. I guess that's okay. I could do that. I want to be providing value to people. And I hope that I can do that over and over and over and over and over again. So, that's it. To build the authentic you, make sure you're doing things that you enjoy, feel comfortable with, and don't feel like you're a fraud with. Until next time, peace!